Hello, you guys. So today we're going to be going over IB Business Management, May 2023, paper 2. So, like I said in my previous videos, that these are only focused on the May 2024 syllabus and going onwards to the 2024 syllabus, the new syllabus. And since the May 2023 syllabus, because we're doing time zone 1, is the first exercise contains like 80% of the old syllabus. So we're going to be just doing the second exercise. So there won't be two parts to this video because we're currently only solving section A, because it's really easier to solve it on YouTube, whereas section B is more difficult. So yeah. Anyways, we're going to begin by reading our case. If you want me to continue making videos like these, you have to like and subscribe. And please comment down below if you want me to solve any past papers or if you have any questions. So let's begin. So let's read this case about MSc. So Menlo seat covers manufactures car seat covers. Okay. The business operates as a private limited company. This is a keyword in our syllabus. You have to know how to define this, guys, okay? When you studying for your exams. Owned 100% by Tony Mehta, who is also the only employee. MSC sells its products online. The market is increasingly competitive. Tony will give himself a 16.66 pay increase starting 1 April 2024. And then these are the monthly cash flow. These are the monthly cash outflows. Okay, so they were nice enough to tell us that it's an outflow. Okay, so they were really nice to do that. Okay. Additional information, opening balance, they gave it to us. Okay. This is important. Sales revenue each month. Okay, each month. Rent 4,000 pay 4,500 paid quarterly. Very, very, very important. I was talking in my other video in the May 2022 actually. Cash flow also came. We are talking about how rent can sometimes be quarterly, sometimes can be every 2 months, sometimes can be per month. So you really need to keep your eyes peeled for that. And the first payment is made January 2024. MSC received 8,000 from the sale of used equipment in March 2024. Okay, so we need to keep all of these things in mind, take all of these things into consideration, you guys. Okay, so let us begin. So the first question asks us to state two features of a private limited company, and they want to, and they even made it on bold for us so we can beware. And the action verb in this okay, and they also told us Tony would like to expand the business, but lacking sufficient internal sources of finance, must seek external sources. Okay, so basically, I'm just gonna explain these. This is like not part of the exercise, but I just want to like explain in case you're revising for your exams, which you probably are, which is why you're watching this video. So basically, internal sources of finance are basically sources of finance from the business, the finance department in the business. And external sources are like, let's say, a bank overdraft, or you get a loan, or you're getting a business angel or microfinancing, whatever. But this is just external versus internal sources of finance. Okay. Anyways, so they tell us to state, that's the verb, the action verb, which is really easy because we just have to state it. We don't have to explain it. We don't have to really get into it. So that's really it. But you just have to make sure that when you're stating that the point you're giving, the feature you're giving is like appropriate. So let us begin. So basically, what is a private limited company? So I just like to explain so I can break down everything for you guys. So a private limited company is basically a company that is owned by shareholders who get dividends. Okay, they get dividends. But not in all cases. Sometimes the business won't be making enough sufficient money. Also, it is not open to the public. So not anyone could buy shares, okay? Not anyone can buy shares. And also it has limited liability. What does limited liability mean? It means that if the business ceases to exist, that does not affect the owners, meaning that if the business goes bankrupt, the only thing the owners will end up losing is whatever they invested in the business. The shareholders will lose the amount invested in the business, but they won't lose anything else. It's limited to that. That's why we say limited liability. The liability they have is limited, okay? So basically that's it. So we can start by saying that shareholders have a limited liability. So you don't really have to go further and explain more just because the action verbs says state. So don't really waste your time because you have to, like later you have to prepare like a fully labeled cash flow forecast. So just don't waste your time really like explaining. If you want, if you're like really adamant, just say the the investment, the shareholders only lose their investment in the business if the business goes bankrupt. So you can just say that, but you will end up wasting some time. But yeah, that's the first features. Again, they asked us for two features. Another one that I think is really nice and really like just easy to use is that there's legal continuity. What does that mean? That means if the like shareholders die and the business will continue to exist because it's not one entity with the business. That's the opposite. They're not an entity. They're not one entity. So yeah, so legal continuity. If owner shareholder, you can write in parentheses, dies, the business will continue to exist. Okay, so really that's basically it. So now for question 2, they want us to use the information, prepare a fully labeled cash flow forecast for MNC for the first 4 months 2024. So January, February, March, April. That's it. Right, so let us begin. So B, we can just begin by drawing the whole box. So again, guys, this might take a bit time, but just because we really need to explain it step by step, extract it, whatever. Okay, so just ignore this last line, guys. But anyways, you have 4 months, right? And you have to first just really just do this first. And then this, just split your. Okay, so we need 5. So, okay, so we have more space, which is great, even though this is really bothering me. So just like, okay, I guess. We need to make sure these are 5 lines. Give me a second. Just make the first one a bit bigger, just because. Okay, guys, because this is like not really going well. Just make this larger. So you might actually encounter these like difficulties during the exam, but yeah, so let's go with it. Just make one more line here. Perfect. Perfection. Here. So we have here month, we write month. Here we write January, February, March, April. Okay. So we begin by that. Then we always begin our cash flow by using opening balance. And you have to make sure that your handwriting is quite small because in cash flow they're kind of annoying. Okay, so see this is still like quite small. So I'm just gonna do this. Just move this like I can't even do that, can I? No. So I'm just gonna try to make my handwriting even smaller. Opening balance. Okay, so you start off by doing that. You draw your line. And then you continue by doing cash inflows. So this is something you always do, okay? And then you start seeing what are your cash inflows. So we have, in this case, sales revenue, right? Okay, so I'm going to just use yellow. So we have sales revenue. This is a cash inflow, right? But also, we have, we're not going to look here just because we know these are all outflows. So here we don't look. So then we see rent, no, will receive 8,000 from sale of leased equipment. So here you can say sale of equipment. Okay. You can just say that. And then, oh, sorry, I should put sales revenue first. So I'll just put this down. But here, I did this in my last video. You should label, okay. you should label your cash inflows and outflows. That way you can do it quite faster. Okay, so sales of equipment, um, sales revenue. Then you continue by doing total inflows because we don't have any other inflows, right? So total cash inflows. Then we have cash outflows. Cash outflows, we have a lot of cash outflows. They're all listed here. So they're all listed here plus rent. Okay, because we have rent here. They try to like kind of trick us to a certain extent. So we have for the first one, heating, lighting. Then we have salary. Then we have packaging. Because again, outflows are basically what the business spends. So what goes out of the business, inflows are what goes in the business. So if you want to like explain a bit, delivery charges. Then you have purchases. Okay, so I have to make this bigger. So usually this would be fine, but in this cash flow, no. Rent. Total cash outflows. Okay. Net cash flow. And then we have one more. Okay, so this was annoying, but okay, sorry. But yeah, this is it. And then closing balance. So that's it. So let us begin. So firstly, they told us that our opening balance is 14,000. Okay. So I'm gonna choose another color. It's 14,000. So we have that written down here, 14,000. Then we know that we have two inflows and the rest are all outflows. So what are inflows, what are outflows? I just want to like break that down for you guys. Okay. Inflows, they go in the business. So money in the business. Outflows are money out in the business, which is really simple. So the more the outflows are, the less able that the business will be able to pay for like its daily expenses. It won't be able to pay for like its revenue expenditure basically. So that's what's gonna happen. So that's why we do the cash flow to see how much cash the business has, because usually when the business does not have cash in hand, it's not able to pay its expenses, right? So let us begin. So sales revenue. So they tell us that sales revenue is 35,000 each month. Okay, so you can simply just do 35,000. And it's preferable if you write dollar signs actually. So yeah, and 35,000, and you can do this for every month. It depends on the student, but I think that if you're really familiar with cash flow and you're really good, then you can do it by like this. I just feel like it just really does not take as much time. I think it's more efficient, but it really depends on the student. Okay. So, sale of equipment. So they said MSC will receive 8,000 from the sale of used equipment in March 2024. So it's only in March. So keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. So here in March, we just add 8,000. We don't add it anywhere else. We just add it in March. So you get 43,000 as our total cash flow for March. Okay, so we're done with all the cash inflows. We're done with literally all of our cash inflows. So in my other video, I actually used another strategy, but I just feel like for this case, it's more appropriate. Really depends on the case. But the whole point is that you have to really, really, really make sure that you're fast, but at the same time you're careful but fast. That's the thing, because cash flows, they really take a lot of time. Just constructing the cash flow really takes a long amount of time, but you have to make sure that you just do it in a way where you don't lose time with other questions. So now for heating and lighting, it's 3,000 per month, okay? So 3,000 per month. Oh, sorry, I did the wrong place. So here it's 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, okay? So this is really how it goes. And then you have heating. So if you want, we can just do sales revenue done, heating done. Then you can also say that the $8,000 release is done. So we include all of these. Now salary. So salary, we have to remember that Tony gives himself a pay increase starting April. So the salary will be the same until April. So what we're going to do is that we're going to write 6,000 for all of them until April. So this is what we're going to be continue doing. Okay. So then it's by 16.66%. So what you end up doing is for salary, April, you end up just multiplying his salary, which is, I'm trying to really, okay, so his salary is 6,000, right? Okay. I don't know why I forgot that for a second. So you multiply 6,000 times 0.16 with like two sixes, and then you get 99. So you add 600 plus 99.96. So you just eventually round it up to 700. So his so basically that's his oh, sorry. See, my mistake. I put 600 instead of 6,000. So you multiply 6,000 by 0.16 with like two sixes. So then you get 999. So 16, oh, 6,000 times 0.666, you get 999.6. So this is 8,000. So basically his salary increased to 6,000 plus 1,000. So it's 7,000. That's his salary now. Okay. So his salary is 7,000 now. So packaging, when they told us packaging is 2,000, and that's for every month. So we just do 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. And then for delivery charges, it's 5% of sales revenue. So it's the same for every month. So let me just do for delivery charges. We just do this. We just do sales revenue is 35,000 every month, right? So 35 times 0.05. And let's see what you get to 35,000 times 0.05. You get 1,750. Okay. So you do 1,750 for each month as well. So as you can see, we're technically almost done. So oh, sorry. 1,750, 1,750. And then purchases, it's 20,000 also per month. So you just add 20,000. But for example, you see, make sure you see why I scribbled over it, because you have to make sure that the digits like follow one another, you know? So like the digits are technically under each other. I don't know if you got what I mean, but yeah. Okay, and then you have rent. So technically, rent is 4,500. It's paid quarterly. What does that mean? It means it's paid once in January, very sorry, in January, and it's paid once in April. So you do not pay all the year. Okay. And then we end up adding all of our cash outflows now for each one, and we finish. So this is what we do. So we add 3,000 plus 6,000. So we're doing January now. Plus 6,000 plus 2,000 plus 1,750 plus 20,000 plus 4,500. Okay. So here we get 37,250. So now we know that we have a negative net cash flow of 2,250. Always remember, when it's negative, just put it in parentheses, okay? So now it's negative. So our closing balance is basically how you calculate it. It's basically closing balance. It's basically opening balance minus net cash flow. So here we have, or actually net cash flow minus opening balance. Or sorry, plus. So net cash flow plus opening balance, so you get minus 2,250 plus 14,000. So here you get 11,750. That's it. So here you have 11. Okay, so I'm going to do it in our original color. So 11,750. So now our opening balance is basically closing balance plus, wait, yeah, it's technically our closing balance. So yeah, of January. So here we just do 11,750. Okay, just move it just to make it symmetrical with everything else. Okay, so we have our total cash inflow. Now let's look at our total cash outflow. So as we can see, our numbers are kind of identical, or we can just add them, but here we can just remove the 4,500. So if you just remove the 4,500, you'll get 32,750, right? So 32,750. So here you have to end up getting for net cash flow 2,250. It's positive, so 2,250. So now you add 2,250 with 11,750. So you add these two numbers, 1, 2, to get the closing balance. So our closing balance would be 14,000. Okay, then here you put 14,000, and then you have to see. So here I think these would also be 32,750, just because they're the exact same numbers. So don't waste your time really calculating. But remember that our cash inflow is different. So here what we do is that we just do 43,000, because again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but net cash flow is equal to cash inflow minus cash outflow. So in case any student is confused, guys, I'm just worried that I'm going too fast. But again, during the exam, you can't go very slow. So here you end up getting 43,000 minus 32,750. You get 10,250. Okay. And then we add that to the opening balance and we get 24,250. Okay, because you just add 10,250 with 14,000. So here you get 24,250. So now we just have to add these, okay, because these are quite different, just because he adds like his salary and he like increases it and all that. So we just have to do 3,000 plus 7,000 plus 2,000 plus 1,750 plus 20,000 plus 8,000. Oh, so sorry, plus 4,500. Sorry, this looks like yeah, that's the dollar sign. It looks like 4,500. So we get 38,250, right? Okay, so then our opening balance will be, our net cash flow will be negative. It's gonna be negative. I need to check the number, but it's basically 38,250 minus 35,000, yeah. So we get 3,250. Okay, so keep in mind everything negative, we like put them in like parentheses. And then we have to see our closing balance. Okay, so we just do 24,250 minus 3,150, we get 21,000. So that's it. Okay, so we finished our cash flow, guys. Now we have to I just hope you guys understood it. But this is how you do it. You just make sure you have your inflows, your outflows, you make all the necessary calculations, and that's it. I kind of explained the calculations right here. So net cash flow plus opening balance is your closing balance, and what your opening balance is, and that's it. Okay, so for example, March's opening balance is the closing. Okay, so it's the closing balance of Feb. Okay, same thing for April. April's closing balance of March. Okay, that's really it. Okay, so for the last question. So for the last question, I'm just gonna make my pen thicker. Okay. So basically, the last question is comment on the predicted cash flow for MSC for the first 4 months. Okay. So we need to actually think and like comment in a way which like makes sense. Okay. So basically, we can begin by saying that the closing balance of MSC constantly fluctuates due to the rent being paid quarterly okay, thus making it deceptive. Okay. Then we can talk about how in like this is evident as in month 1 or like month 1, January, the cash flow is significant. The closing balance is significantly lower than month 2, February. In month 3, March, the cash flow is also significantly higher than month 4. Month 4, April, which is partially due to the quarterly rent yearly paid rent, but also to the sales of used equipment. This constant change in net cash flow is due to those two reasons, which causes MSC to have inconsistent cash flow. Furthermore, Tony's 16.66% increase in salary has increased his salary from $6,000 to $7,000, thus increasing cash outflows, which will decrease net cash flow, thus closing balance. Okay. So basically that's it. So this is how you comment on this. This will lead to, I'm just looking at the cash flow guys chart again. This will lead to increasing pressures on MSC. So basically, guys, here we ended up explaining what basically makes the cash flow fluctuate, what makes it deceptive, the inaccuracies in the cash flow, because once there's an inaccuracy in the cash flow, then they won't actually be able to really be consistent in the business. So yeah, guys, this is it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you have any questions, comment down below. Bye bye, guys. Enjoy your day, and please like and subscribe.